Okay, our little Miss Jane is, I think as we speak, going to be taken off intubation. Is that what you call it? The breathing tube and all that. She's slowly been waking up. They're going to be reducing meds. And yeah, so a lot of things going on. I've been taking care of the 3 children. Guys aren't made for this. I want to talk about this for a little bit. This will be a triggering video. I'm going to tick a lot of people off. It's going to be awesome. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm going to be a bit sarcastic, so kind of go with that, if you will. Look, I'm going to say some things here. I know there are exceptions. Now listen to this carefully, folks. I know there are exceptions to the rule, okay? If you are one of those exceptions, please don't feel the need to tell me that your life was different, okay? And that it needed to be different, or that it was different, or that you're blessed because it was different. I'm talking about the general rule, or the general role, if you will, of men, women, and whatnot. Now, there's been a lot of talk in the LDS community about the alphabet group. Some of you don't know what the alphabet group is when I refer to that, but if I say the L and the G and the on and on and on, then sometimes the videos can get flagged, right? So we're very cognizant of that. But just some things that have come to my mind. Connor Boyack did a great video on this Sunday, and covered so many different things on this. But the one thing that made me think of when I listened to his video, the one thing that came up in my mind was this idea of neither root nor branch. Now, this is out of Malachi, and it has to do with the second coming, and that the wicked will be burned, and they'll neither have root nor branch. Now, think of the alphabet soup. It's a recipe for that. And this all has to do with the Abrahamic covenant, if you will, and separating ourselves from that covenant. Now, there's a lot of scholarly dissertations on the Abrahamic covenant. I like to, this simple mind of mine likes to think of it as the blessing of priesthood, posterity, and property. And that through Abraham, there'll be a great nation, and all the world will be blessed, and the people will be blessed through this Abrahamic covenant. It was one of the covenants that was restored or renewed in the Kirtland Temple. Elias, I believe it was, the Gospel of Abraham, and this is the Abrahamic covenant. So we can read about it in Genesis, we can read about it in the book of Abraham, we can read about it in the Book of Mormon. I think it's 3 Nephi 20, if I recall, where Christ himself refers to this. So the part I want to focus on, I always like to focus on the property, but this time is posterity. How do we have posterity when we have, it's like, when my son was on a mission in Houston, they had a hurricane there and they had to evacuate. So they went to a neighboring mission. I can't remember where it was. And they had to, many of them, the elders had to sleep in the same bed, this emergency kind of thing. And so, the mission president said, okay, it's not going to be pole to pole, and it's not going to be pole to hole. It's going to be hole to hole sleeping in this arrangement. I love that. Now, with all this other shiz going on, and I'm talking about within the church, we have, we don't always have that, and we have, members that are having sex changes, individuals having sex changes, being able to be baptized. We have same-sex couples, Charlie Bird and his whatever, married, shown in the church records as married, and they have church callings, and they go to church together, and oh, it's just so wonderful. Very confusing, and really, when you think about a relationship, especially two males, I don't want to get gross here, but you do have to think of where that goes, where that goes, and it has a lot to do with the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, let's just say it the way it is. Okay, what it doesn't produce, and sex changes and all these things, and gender dysphoria, all these things, what it doesn't do is it doesn't fulfill one of the covenants or the blessings of the covenant, and that's posterity. And I think this is all by design, and I think it's infiltrated the church big time, and I'll talk about that in just a second here. So we have a culture now, and let's think about this very carefully. Again, I go to Connor Boyack. I think he's one of the brilliant minds of today within the church, and he talked about this new seminary program. Oh boy, aren't we so good at programs? In this seminary program, what is the thing lacking in this? So we have the Come Follow Me that's covered a couple of days a week or 2 or 3 days a week, and then the other time we have temple prep, mission prep, life skills, whatever that means. But what don't we have? We don't have marriage and having babies. We don't have marriage, and we don't have having babies. That is so absent in our day and age. Okay, let's go old school. Let's go old school. I'm an old guy. I look it, I feel it sometimes. However, I do love Cardio Miracle. And I'm telling you, like 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, it just, I stay strong and healthy. Oh, I hope that's real wood, knock on wood. But I'll put a link to Cardio Miracle on this, because I do think it's important that we take care of our physical bodies as much as possible, right? And I know many of you have written and said how it's been a blessing in your life. So yeah, give it a shot. Okay, back to the video now, the presentation. Old school, the boys, well, just call them boys. You weren't a man yet. You took shop in junior high and in high school, and that shop would be either wood shop or metal shop, and you'd learn how to build things, work things, even learn how to weld a little bit, and just practical good things, you learn. And what did the young women do, or the young ladies do? The girls, they did home ec. Remember that? Home economics. You learn how to take care of a home, cook, clean, raise kids, all that kind of stuff. I can tell some of you are squirming me even mentioning this, because it hasn't been mentioned for so long, and it's, oh, well, some people can't get married, and some people can't have children, and, Mother's Day is such a hard, awkward time, so let's just give a present to everybody who's a woman. If they identify as a woman, let's all give them a treat on Mother's Day, because we don't want to offend anybody. This is bull crap. It's bull crap. If you can't for some reason, then you're good. You shouldn't feel guilty or anything. But if it's a choice, yeah, then maybe you should feel guilty. And if you're a guy that isn't married and you're just dinking around, literally, then maybe you should feel guilty, on Father's Day or when we talk about getting married. Now, here's a huge issue. I've felt this for a long, long time. We never really anymore discuss, young men, your purpose in life is to get married and have kids. That's your purpose. That's part of the Abrahamic covenant. Doesn't that just sound just weird, But how can the world be blessed through posterity if you don't have any posterity? And especially as a marriage between a man and a woman, if you don't participate in that, you're not participating in the Abrahamic covenant. So women that, well, let's get back to, my mind's just going all over the place. I have a little window of opportunity here to share this video with you, and I want to just calm down and get things done here. So as we're raising teenagers or even younger, what do we talk about? Missions, temple, and education. Mission, temple, education, or education, mission, temple, or education, temple, mission. And we never talk about barefoot and pregnant. We never talk about being poor as church mice, but just pumping out the kids and working hard, learning a trade or anything like that. That just sounds so foreign. I just love saying it because I know it's just ticking somebody off. Let's look at Barbara Smith. You guys remember Barbara Smith? She was the General Relief Society president, okay? Back from, it looks like August 3rd, 1974 to April 7th, 1984. So 10-year run, which is kind of uncommon. But let's look at her bio, if we can here. Barbara Smith. She was the 10th General President of the Relief Society, blah, 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 blah. She was born in 1922, Salt Lake City. She was the third of 6 children. She graduated from South High School in 1940. She married Douglas H. Smith in the Salt Lake Temple on June 16, 1941. They were the parents of 7 children. Wow, right off the bat, it says how many kids they had and that she was married. It goes on and talks about, as a Relief Society General President, she spearheaded the LDS Church opposition and proposed Equal Rights Amendment, opposition to the proposed Equal Rights Amendment, okay, to the U.S. Constitution. Smith also used her position to actively oppose the recruitment of women into the United States military, okay, and the spread of abortion, which had been legalized in the United States in 1973. Now, Barbara Smith has huge hair. It's like really big. She's a rock star. She's a rock star. She's part of the Abrahamic covenant. In so many different senses of the word. Or in that covenant. She fulfills it. She was and is an amazing, amazing woman. What's missing from this bio? Well, let's go on and see if we can find another one here. Let's just go here and let's look up another one here. Let's look up another one here. Let's do the very next one, Barbara Winder. The Winder farm was in our mission when we presided over the Salt Lake City West mission, and just the winters were amazing. Let's see what her life was like. Barbara Woodhead was born on May 9th, 1931 in Midvale to Willard Verrill Woodhead and Margaret Hand. Marge, I can't read, and I don't have my glasses right handy, so just forgive me. She was the oldest of 4 children, blah, blah, blah. Then she was raised in East Mill Creek, blah, blah, blah. She involved at school. She served as the student body secretary at Olympus Junior High, and on the Girls League president of Granite High School. During high school, she worked at an ice cream parlor and learned shorthand and typing. At a time when very few female classmates were planning to attend college, Barbara's Girl Association advisor and father encouraged her to continue her education and plan for a career. A college education was beyond my dream, she said, and though lacking confidence that she could pay for it, she was accepted and began studying at the University of Utah. Now listen, this is what she studied. She studied home economics. Home ec. While working part-time as a secretary at school, she was involved in Alpha Chi Omega, and then some other, and LDS Institute. During her sophomore year, the family milkman, Ned Winder, introduced Barbara to his brother, Richard Winder, who had recently returned home from an LDS mission. The couple's first date was a hayride at the Winder family dairy, and 2.5 weeks later, Barbara accepted Richard's marriage proposal. They were married on January 10th, 1951 in the Salt Lake Temple. They raised their 4 children on Winder Lane with 19 cousins on the same block. And then it talks about her her church service and all that. Gosh, once she found a man, once she started popping out kids, oh, how important was that education? And it was in home economics anyway. Well, what a loser she is, right? She didn't get a degree, and just what a dud, right? What a dud. I'm saying that facetiously, right? She was an amazing woman. Okay, let's do one of my favorites. Let's go to Julie Beck. Let's go to Julie Beck. Julie Beck, I mean, she kicked butt and took names, right? When she spoke, she was amazing. Let's see what she did. Born in Granger, Utah, to William Grant Bangeter, part of the Bangeter family. Beck grew up in Utah and Brazil because her father served as a mission president in the LDS Church for 5 years. Beck's father would later serve as an LDS general authority. So she came with a pedigree. Beck's father would later serve as an LDS church general authority. Okay. Beck is also the niece of Utah's 13th governor, Norman Bangeter. Okay. Beck attended Dixie College and graduated from Brigham Young University with a degree in what? Family science. Interesting. In October, she was called to be a first counselor to blah 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 and the young women's and da da da, and then she I don't know. She had a lot of callings and did a lot of things. But one thing it doesn't really talk about is her, what she did as a career and all this stuff. It's like, hey, she went to school when she could, and then boom, had kids and got married and had kids. Okay, so let's take a look now. Let's take a look now at. Let's see if I can find this. The current. Let's look at the current one. I don't know if this will have it. Yeah. So let's look at this one. This is Camille Neto Johnson. She was born in Pocatello, Idaho. She obtained a bachelor's degree in English in 1985 from the University of Utah and a Juris Doctor degree in 1989 from the University of Utah Law School. Johnson worked as a lawyer for more than 30 years, most recently with Snow, Christensen, and Martineau. In her legal career, Johnson worked as an advisor and litigator on issues including risk management, employment claims, Fair Labor Standards Act, ADA, whistleblowing procedures, due process, and pharmaceutical defense. Whew. From 2016 to 19, she served with her husband as a mission leader in the primary general presidency, blah, blah, blah. On August 22nd, Johnson transitioned from being a general president of the primary to having the same title in Relief Society. She was succeeded in primary, blah, 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 blah. Johnson married Douglas R. Johnson in 1987, and they are the parents of 3 grandchildren. It's just like, that's just an afterthought. Or parents of 3 children. Did I say grandchildren? Parents of 3 children. You see the change? You see the change that's taking place? It's like spend all this time on blah, 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 that I think means absolutely nothing. It means a big zero to me when it comes to the Abrahamic covenant and when it comes to anything else, to be quite honest. Now, I don't have anything against her. I'm just showing what changes have taken place over time. So getting back to this, we sometimes wonder, well, why aren't the young men getting married? Why aren't they finding a cute gal and just let the hormones go wild and go, crap, if I'm wanting to, enjoy a relationship, I'll take on the responsibilities of a home and family and wife and get this party started. But if the whole life has nothing to do with getting married and having children in your church atmosphere, the world's not going to teach it. But now the church doesn't teach it either. In fact, it's just the opposite. This latest, I don't know if you'd call it a fireside or not, but it was Elder Christofferson. It was Emily Freeman, and I think, I can't remember who all it was, but it was a few months ago. All they talked about is education, career. Let's get those women in the workforce. That's where we want them. We want them in the workforce. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And it goes totally against the Abrahamic covenant. If you want to keep this scriptural, it's amazing to me the disservice we do as a church to the young people by not teaching this, that marriage and children supersede everything else. Marriage and children. Now, you're all going to tell me your exceptions. Well, I wanted to get married, but I couldn't, or I'm not able to have children. Look, you're the exception. It's like the abortion, which I'm probably going to get banned for even saying that word. But, we say, well, rape and incest and the mother's health, right? That's okay then. So we take that. Those are the exceptions. Those are such a small percentage, right? Now, if Satan wanted to thwart the Abrahamic covenant, first off, you don't promote marriage and having babies. You don't promote that, and homemaking and keeping a home, because you have to. Well, you don't have to. You can hire it out. But if you really want fulfillment, you take that responsibility on. So you do away with that. You say that's stupid. It's not fulfilling. It means nothing. And it appears that this has happened not only in the world society, but has infiltrated within the church, because we can see it. This is what's pushed. So when we So back to what Satan would do if I were the devil, right? What Paul Harvey used to say, if I were the devil. Then you have this. Why wouldn't there be gender dysphoria if the purpose isn't to pump out kids and raise a family? Then why not have a mixed up gender situation? Because that's really the purpose. It's for a man and a woman to get together and produce. That's the purpose of one of the aspects of the Abrahamic covenant. Posterity, right? So I think, have sucked right in to what the world has said, and it's a really good plan of Satan to really hammer this major aspect of the Abrahamic covenant. We should, in my opinion, we should be teaching children, and especially teenagers, that marriage and children are the key. That's what used to be taught. But now it's all education, so that you can make money. And if you have children, fine. If you don't, even better. Even better. Which I think is really sad. Really sad. So let's keep this in mind. I love talking about these things and just throwing it out there because I see it, I feel it. And many times women who want to be homemakers, want to have children, want to teach them, want to have a nice, clean home where the Spirit is felt and they take pride in that, are marginalized in the church. They're marginalized in the church. They are marginalized in the church because they don't have, maybe they don't have a degree, or they haven't worked in a professional light. And so it's like, well, I guess we'll let them teach once in a while, or let them do something, so they don't leave. But there certainly aren't something that we want our young women to look like or to look up to. That's what it feels like to me. So this is, in my opinion, this is one of the most definitive divisions and downfalls of what's going on within the church right now. We are following exactly what the world is. It's all about going to some stupid liberal left-leaning university, getting a degree where really you're just indoctrinated into the world belief of everything, DEI and all the social justice crap and changing history, all the things. And then getting plugged right into corporate America, where you're going to have the same kind of things going on. I think I told you this story one time, but we had a missionary who was Polynesian, and all her family was basically here in Utah, and that's where we were serving and presiding over the mission. And she left from Tonga, but she wanted to stay here, because her family had moved here. No, mission department said nope, she has to go back to her home country, and then she can come here on her own if she can work it out. And I said, that's really interesting. I said, because we have missionaries that are here illegally that are fine to serve their missions here, but they're here illegally. I don't understand what the problem would be. And man, you talk about this guy coming unglued. We don't use that term illegally and you can't use it. And I said, dude, you're nothing to me. You are nothing to me. And this is what I'm talking about. So you have this corporate atmosphere. At that time, this was right prior to President Trump being president. And so you couldn't use the term, you couldn't say Merry Christmas, you couldn't say illegal, or you're here illegally. It was non-documented, and that's what this guy told me to say. Well, he had been trained. You could tell he was just a corporate dude in the church, a paid position in the mission department. It just happens. Corporations, it has to happen that way. So this is the world we live in. I think if more of us speak out, the better off we'll be. It might just be a pressure valve release for some of us, and life goes on. But you can just see the evolution of the church from, the 60s, 70s, 80s, that era, and see what the world did. And now you can see what the church did, and it's virtually the exact same thing. So you can say, well, we follow the brethren, we follow this, we follow that. Well, the scriptures are pretty clear about family, about children, about being married. And I think all this other stuff is just a bunch of bull crap that we just continue to get chipped away, accepting. I'm not going to do it anymore. I stopped doing that a long time ago. So that was just a little Nelly here. Anyway, I'm going to end this video. God bless. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.